All right, good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Instagram. Good morning, Facebook. This is Adrian coming at you with part 8 of the series of how to assemble your real estate dream team. This is going to be a short video, quick and to the point. It's not that detailed, it's in and out. Um, so, what we'll be talking about this morning is a professional surveyor and the things that he does. Okay, so we'll be talking about what is he looking for and the things that he is looking at. Okay, so with that being said, before we start, let me give you guys a call to action. All right, again, like, subscribe to my page on YouTube, comment, share. Excuse me. All these things allow me to continue to give you the information that I'm giving you. I find it appropriate that you engage me in information that you want that I'm not giving you or I could be giving you. So with that, just like, subscribe, share, and do all the things that are necessary, and I will get you the information that you are looking for. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to jump into part 8. Okay, we've seen the professional surveyor. We've seen these guys in the middle of the street gazing through their transits and taking measurements of the ground. This information is precisely what makes property owners and lenders sleep well at night, knowing that the properties they are considering during their due diligence phase, this is due diligence, all right, are all that they have been stated to be. And best of all, this report, this information with various official documents. Okay, so this report will have official documentation that bears all the appropriate seals and certificates and so on and so forth, and it's the real deal. And once they're finished, it becomes a matter of public record. So what exactly are the surveyors looking at or looking through their site scopes when it comes to projects? They are confirming the following examples. Okay, so they're talking about easements. And what is the easement? The easement is the access to and from the property. All right, so they are determining and verifying the access into and out of the property. Okay, also they will now determine the dimensions of the location of the property. The surveyor is looking at and marking the property lines to determine the property's exact size and location in relation to other properties. Okay, so this is paramount so that should you want to build a fence, should you want to build another piece of land, another piece of property on the land, you know where your property stands. If you want to plant shrubs, anything that you want to do, you need to know where your property line starts and finishes. Okay. We're also going to talk about location of all buildings and improvements. Okay. The survey is determining the exact placement of all buildings and improvements within the land parcel to assert that they are placed and specified that they are within the constraints of local building codes. So all buildings that are close and nearby in proximity to your property, things need to be up to code. And these people, the surveyors, man or woman, will determine which buildings or which locations need to be adjusted to the local building codes. Okay. The next thing they're going to do is they're going to look at non-vehicular access. The surveyor is determining the exact placement of any non-vehicular access easements like pedestrian walkways that may exist on the property. These can impact the building improvement and building placement plans. All right, so it's paramount that we know, is there a bike path that runs through here? Is there a walking trail that runs through here? All these things are called non-vehicular access. All right. Next thing we're going to talk about is traffic calming measures. So the surveyor is looking at and indicating or planning the location of traffic calming improvements such as speed bumps, median plantings, etc., things that slow traffic and improve the environment for residents, pedestrians, and bicyclists. All right. Um, so these are the main things that they look for. Okay, as we said before, easement, in to and from, in and out of your property, the location, size, and lot of your property, location of all buildings and improvements. Like I said, the survey is determining the exact placement of all buildings and improvements within the land parcel to assert that they are placed as specified and they are within constraints of the local building codes. All right. So again, these documents are certified, they're sealed, and they become a matter of public record. So, of course, every project dictates what your surveyor will need to do, and every piece of land brings its own unique needs to it. So, in the mountains and boulder-ridden terrain in Arizona, for instance, this is just an example, a state with strict laws related to indigenous plants and natural formations. Surveyors indicate the location of every cactus, every Palo Verde tree, and any rock outcroppings that are to be preserved as natural space. So they assess the land, they understand what can be here, what shouldn't be here, what could be moved, what couldn't be moved. So ultimately, they are primary in your due diligence phase, all right? Ultimately, your title company and the surveyors themselves do not want there to be any gaps between adjacent properties. There are a lot of reasons for this. Okay, you might say, well, what's the big deal about a gap in between my property and the next property? Well, when you think about it, one is ownership. Who is responsible to care for and maintain this gap? Am I going to mow the lawn, or is he going to mow the lawn? You understand what I'm saying? In this area. Okay, so that's a primary reason. Second is liability. Are both owners or neither one responsible for a mishap that takes place between the property lines? So if there's a gap and somebody trips and falls, somebody hurts themselves, anything can happen of negligence in this area. Who's responsible? So this is why they don't want any gap in between property lines. All right. And the other thing is property value. It can be really expensive to buy a small piece of land that you project may need in order to be compliant and develop. All right. So there might be some setbacks, and you need to know where you can build your property, where you can't build your property, so on and so forth. So again, with that being said, again, the issue is no gaps in the property line, and that is for, again, who's going to take care of that gap, because you have a lot of owners that are not going to do it, and then the gap turns into unsightly and what's the word I'm looking for? Unsightly space. So weeds start to grow, kids start throwing litter, and all these different things happen in this space. All right? Who's negligent if something happens? If a kid falls off a bike, a kid trips and falls and breaks the ankle, somebody gets robbed, or whatever the case may be, anything can happen. Who's responsible? Who's going to be the one that gets taken to court? So this is why they don't want any gaps in between property lines. All right? So with that being said, I'm out of here. This was the video for today, part 8, in how to assemble your dream team of real estate. This is personal surveyors, and these guys are needed in the beginning of your due diligence phase. As you're doing the walkthroughs and you're getting your property cited by the hazardous site engineer, you need a personal surveyor, you need a realtor. We've gone over the type of people that you need on your team. So we're going to wrap this up in probably another day, 10 parts. and that's your team. And essentially, as I said before, this is not just for the beginner. This is for anybody. Hopefully, this won't be your only investment property. Hopefully, you do this and you grow. And that's why I'm trying to give these tidbits so that the property that you invest in, you know all the ins and outs. You know what to look for. Am I saying that you need to have all these people on your team? But at some point, you're going to need them. Next thing we're going to talk about is the architect. All right? At some point, you might want to build a property. You might want to build a 6-unit dwelling. How do you want it to look? So you're going to need these people if you continue to grow in investment real estate. All right? My name is Adrian. I'm out of here. Listen, give God some praise for waking up this morning. Things might not be as you like them, but He woke you up, and I have to give praise. So with that being said, thank you. Take it easy.